Welcome back to episode 6 of PongRedux. In this video, I am going to add scoring to the game, and we're going to handle what happens when the ball goes off the bottom and the top edge. The player scores. We'll write the score to the screen, and we'll update the score. So let's get started. I'm going to scroll down in my draw loop to right after the player controls and before the ball dot bounce off left edge command, and we're going to do if the ball goes off the top or the bottom of the screen first. I'm going to jump over to text. If we think about it, what we're gonna do is look at the Y position of the ball, because the Y value of the ball, the Y position of the ball will increase as we go downward. Y is 0 at the top of the screen and 400 at the bottom of the screen. So if the ball's Y position is less than 0, that means it's gone off the top of the screen. And if the ball's Y position is greater than 400, that means it's gone off the bottom of the screen. So what do we need? We need our if statement to check the ball.y and see if it's less than 0 or greater than 400. Let's do greater than 400 first. Mind your symbols. Make sure that you use greater than here and not less than, or you'll get some weird behavior. We're going to play a sound then, like a to indicate that the ball went off the screen and the player has scored. I used Vibrant Game Negative Bling 1. Yeah, that's the one. Negative Bling 1. And then we need to use a counter pattern to increment the score. If the ball's greater than 400, it's gone off the bottom. I'm calling player 1 the player at the bottom of the screen and player 2 at the top. So if it goes off the bottom of the screen, the player at the top has scored, which is player 2. So we're going to increment player 2's score with a counter pattern here. So we need to go to variables, third block, and I called this player 2's score player 2. Then we need to reset the ball because currently it's still moving downward to infinity and beyond. So we need to reset that, and I want to put it right back into the middle of the screen. So I need 2 of these guys, and we're going to say ball.y is equal to 200, and ball.x is equal to 200 as well. I think that's it for now. We're going to add a bunch to this later when we level the game, like make levels. But right now we can just Control-C, Control-V. And for this one, we're going to drag this out and do ball.y less than 0. Again, mind your symbol, make sure that's a less than 0. Play the same sound, and this time player 1 scores because it's going off the top of the screen. So we'll change this to 1. And we reset it to the middle. Now, that's it for that piece. But notice that I have a warning here that says score player 2 hasn't been declared, and neither has score player 1. So we got to put those variables in. So I'm going to go way back to the top. I'm going to pull in a variable block. Score player 1 equals 0. And then duplicate that. And score player 2 equals 0. That should clear up those warnings, and yes, indeed it did. Okay, next thing. Well, we should test this to make sure it works. Let's give it a run, let it go off the screen. Ah, nice. Certainly is working. This is interesting. We've created a pattern here, which we don't really want, but we can deal with that later. Also happens on the bottom. But anyway, that is working. So what else do we need to do? We need to keep track of the score on the screen. So let's do that piece. I think that's the next part. So I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. And this is going to be in the draw loop, but beneath draw sprites, because remember, we don't want to draw our background on top of our text or we won't be able to see it. I'm going to put in a comment. This is write the scores to the screen. Set a fill color. And we need something that says like player 1 score and player 2 score, and then reports the score. I called player 1 score green score. I'm just going to go with that because it's the same as my notes. So we're going to write the text green score, space. And I put that at 1515. Those numbers you can play around with if you don't like where it is on the screen. And then we need, that's going to write the words green score to the screen, but we need the actual score. So then we're going to text score player 1 to the screen at 9015. Now, I'm wondering if I set the text size somewhere else in the game. We might need to set text size. But notice that here, I have not put score player 1 in quotes. If you put score player 1 in quotes, it interprets that as a string variable, which means it's going to write the actual word score player 1 to the screen. If you don't put it in quotes, it reports the value stored in the variable score player 1. Now we have to do score player 2, which should be a copy and paste job. And we'll call this blue score. Did I make it blue? Was it blue? Was it red? It's red in this one. Better call that red score. And I put this at 315, 315, 15, and 380, 15. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. Nice. And you can see the score counting as the green player 1 is scoring. Oh my gosh. See if the other one works. No, it doesn't. Okay, all right. Oh, it's because maybe I didn't put score player 2 down here on line 122. Could that be it? Yes, indeed. Working. Nice. Okay, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. In the next episode, I think this is looking really good. We're almost to like a somewhat playable game. But in order to make it more funner, it would be cool if the speed of the ball increased as we played. Because otherwise, the way it is now, we could pretty much play forever and no one would miss. But if the ball periodically increases in speed, then someone will eventually miss. So that's where leveling the game comes into play. So after a certain number of hits, we can count the number of hits that we've had, and after a certain number, we can increase the speed of the ball. And then when someone misses, we can reset the speed back to the original slowness and have them work up again. And that's also, when the ball speeds up, we'll change the background and we'll keep track of a level and we'll write the level to the screen and so on. So that's going to be probably a long update, but that's what's in store next time. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you there. Bye.